And the first thing that I want to talk about is just getting feet into a gesture. So I, again, love the star guy. And the thing that feet want to do, most importantly, is they want to take up some space on the ground. So we can always start with something like that. In terms of our gesture, like you see how I use that box, and I'll just take it out. But that gives me the amount of space that they take up on the ground. And you might feel like, well, yeah, but those look like diver flippers or something. And so it's totally fine to kind of round them off. And I think that if you round them off from the outside, like over that way, I think that that looks really good. And if you want to, you can take a little bit out on the instep, like right there. And I think that that gives us at least a starting point, okay? So let's try someone else over here. And this guy is walking sideways, and I want to say it's going to hit the ground. The feet have to hit the ground someplace in that space. So here's that foot hitting the ground here, and then this foot down and bending onto the ground. And we can take and round our outsides. And that's at least a nice starting place. Here's someone walking away from us. So the first most important thing that I want for you guys to get with the feet is that they take up some space on the ground, okay? And I like this method of drawing in perspective the space that I'm going to try to get them to take up. So the next most important thing for us to get about the feet is that they have depth, that they're not that they have this quality. And so when we're cutting that off for the foot, and this isn't becoming a perfect looking foot, but what I'm wanting for you to deal with the foot, like we could very much, it's a real simplification, but we can kind of start to understand the shape of the foot by thinking of it like a bit of a cube, okay? So this evening when I was getting ready to put this together, I went online and I watched a lot of videos on how to draw feet just to see if there was some way that it could be made easier. And the best thing that I found was a video that showed the foot being broken into three components, which were, for the middle of the foot, a ramp. So that'll be easy to show in side view. Kind of like that. Okay. For the toe portion of the foot, kind of a little bit of like half of a hockey puck, kind of like that. And for the heel portion of the foot, something very similar. And what I like about this is how simple it is. So this foot over here would be like this. So there's that little kind of hockey puck shape. Here's the ramp. And then here's the heel. So we can draw this foot. There's the ramp. There's the heel. We're not really seeing the bottom of it because of the angle. And here's the front portion, like a little hockey puck. And over here, the heel, the ramp, and the toe portion. And that's a pretty nice simplification. We can take that and make it a lot better. So for instance, let's draw a foot here. There's the heel section. There's the ramp. But before we try to draw the foot without a shoe on it, let's put a shoe on this foot so that we can just see how nice this is. So for instance, if we put a heel on right here, we could make this a kind of a dress shoe. Or a sneaker. There's my three sections, right? The ramp, the hockey puck, the next hockey puck. If this is the inside of the foot always has a little bit of an arch like that. The thing that'll make it look like a kind of patent leather shoe is having a high level of reflectivity. Like even like down here, this is the reflected light. And you want the shapes of the reflections to follow the form and to look cool. And it's actually, the shoe is a good place to notice this particular detail, which is that the heel actually sticks out a lot further than the back of the leg. Okay. Okay, so then let's go into more of just a foot, okay? So okay, so if this is as far as you want to take it, that's totally fine. But I want to give you a little bit more information if you're interested. So the first thing is the toes. When you look at the footprint, it kind of looks like this. Notice that this guy here is an arc, it's kind of a triangle, okay? Right there, there's the tip of the triangle. The tip of the triangle is off in that direction. It goes off in that direction. So it's not this, right? It's more this. Okay? And the big toe is usually shorter than the toe next to it, the second toe. And another thing about the bottom of the foot that's really interesting is it's very similar to the hand. There's this pad right here. There's a kind of a lowness right here, and there's a pad right there. So if we compare that to a hand, you have the pad where the thumb cuts in, right? And that's similar to this guy. You have the pad, this pad, that runs along the side of the hand, and then you have this up in here. So those are the three main pads of the palm of the hand. Yeah, there's other similarities, but that's where we'll leave it for right this second. So let's include that shaped triangle. So what we end up with is this is a little bit more, we can square it off a little bit, And then from here, it ends up going back kind of like that. Okay? So the big toe is turning inward a little bit. And another thing is that the toes have a tendency to kind of stair step. So especially except for the big toe and the little toe. So it's like the big toe and the little toe are kind of their own thing, but the toes in the middle have a real tendency to stair step like that. But the big toe is shaped, it doesn't have the same amount of joints. And so we let it shape itself a little differently. There's the pad right here. And then you see this hollow? Kind of hollows inwards right there. And the pinky is really small and kind of rounded. Each toe has a bone that heads up. And again, the heel, when you're in the heel, the bottom of the heel actually projects this way a good distance beyond where the connection of the leg is. And here's the ankle on the inside. The ankle on the outside will be lower, but we're not going to see that from where we are right now. Okay. We'll draw a foot from the outside. So I want to start out with the piece of ground that it's taking up. And I want to draw in the ramp. I'm going to draw in that kind of tall cylinder shape in the back. And I'm going to draw in a short little hockey puck shape right in here. So this part of the foot tends to round in that direction. We can look for the stair steps of the toes. The last toe is a lot more just round, and the big toe shorter but broader. The ankle on the outside is lower than the ankle on the inside, and the heel stretches back beyond the leg. And all of the construction that we put in, helps us to shade it. Like, so for instance, it sort of gives us the planar breakdown. So now I'm more just going to go for it. Here's that section of the foot. There's the ramp. The back. Yeah, so I like this model. It's kind of really simple, and I think that's a real advantage. Yeah, so from gesture to finished drawing, shoes, and you can just get references for shoes and draw on any kind of shoes that you want. But that shape gets us pretty close. The hmm. A lot of times the shoe will crack, like right there, the leather of the shoe, and on the far end of it, you'll see those. That I think looks really good. And the laces, the shoe holes for the laces will run in perspective down the shoe. Kind of a big clunky winter shoe. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hope it helps out. Okay, talk to you guys soon.